Speedy cutaway and sped up footage. Hey ho, mo diddly bop. It is me, Combo, don't stop. Yeah, I'm back. Anyway, yeah, I'm trying to get back into breaking in my content, so I'm gonna dub over this footage of me sort of testing out the Switchglaive that I haven't used in 5 ever. Oh man. It's been such a long time. I just recently got a new job, so I had to take a wee hiatus to figure out my life. That was a joke. Anyway, doing a bit better. Got an income. No longer sick. And you see that right there is why a low stance Switchglaive is kind of rad. Oh, projectile spam. A lot. You hate it. Cool. Low stance projectile reflect from that Switchglaive says don't worry about it. The only problem is I did notice that the reflection will also cost stamina relative to the size of the projectile that you reflect. So you can reflect gigantic, quickly reloaded mortar shots. It's just gonna suck. I only recommend doing it at like 2 at a time and then scrambling like fuck for cover because that's a good idea. Just do that. Just do that, yeah. But, all in all, I enjoyed the Switchglaive. I mostly use it in mid-stance. I am a heavy mid-stance boy in almost every weapon format. However, the Switchglaive does have some rad mobility options in low stance, and in high stance, that damage once you're at, like, the peak distance. Oh, yeah, that's real good. It's sort of like how Zasalamel and Zhangshua. Wait, is it Zhangshua or is it Song? Yeah, I think it might be Young Sung. How in Soul Calibur there is optimal damage if you are at the proper distance. Or you could do what I just did and do high stance, guard stance, and then start doing that infinite chaining whirlwind combo. That it's similar to Majima's like 3 light attack into strong attack combo in Yakuza 0 where he just starts treating his baseball bat like nunchucks. Like a dumb fuck, and the combination is just rad. I don't know what it is about Japanese games and making you treat things like a nunchuck that aren't nunchucks. It's kinda super awesome. I'm a big old fan about that. I mean, let's see. There's the reference I just threw out there with Majima. That was pretty good. There's this game where you treat a scythe like it's a nunchuck and you start doing underarm twirls. And Devil May Cry 5. That's right, because Devil May Cry has Dante doing that with his shotgun. The Coyote A. Yes. It's such a good time. I don't know why that's always a thing. But let's just keep doing that. I want to eventually get a Western developer to do something similar. Where it's like a Mortal Kombat character who treats, I don't know, Joy-Cons like nunchucks. Like there's just this random Wii Fit trainer DLC character for something, and they're using the Joy-Cons, like their little Wii joysticks, the ones that can kill you, the nunchaku, and properly using. All right, that's kind of a shitty example, so fuck it. I'm gonna quit spitballing this because it's clearly a bad idea. Anyhow, oh yeah, that damage, it kind of hurts sorta. It was a little bit harder to adapt the Switchglaive to my health regen build, although I think this glaive in particular does have health back on hit, so that's always okay. All in all, I find it to be an interesting defensive option. I do have quite a few moves for it. If I remember right, the move later in Afterglow, I think that's the one at the very end of the base campaign. There's a mission called... what was it? Coming Ruin, Ending Dread, something like that. Something morbid, but it's really just you fighting all of the mentor-type characters and ending with good old waifu friend. God, I gotta get back into playing this game so I can remember names. Anyway, yeah, once you beat her, there's a random chance she'll drop a move that's super rad that just... in mid to high stance, all you do is you hold triangle and you go to town, and you get 4 good hits in while rotating. Yeah, that's pretty good, pretty good. Oh yeah, I forgot. Because of this also channeling, like, that yokai infusion, the extra elemental damage on that's pretty good. Good enough to countermon those rolling monks. Wheel monks are the fucking worst. They are elemental... bone wheels, just the worst. I'm gonna go back to drinking. Oh, what a terrible mistake. I bought a infused wine with cold brew. Nobody in the house likes it because it's super bitter and it doesn't pair well with anything. I'm inclined to agree, but here we are. I mean, I've got to finish it. Open the bottle, right? No. I didn't finish it all at one time. That would be incredibly reckless. Anyway, I'm finishing up the last of it. It took about 2 weeks to do so, but you know, it was a good 2 weeks. All in all, I do like it. I like bitter things, so that's okay. It has a funny aftertaste that doesn't quite hit the palate quite right. And I can understand why other people wouldn't like it. What I do need to do, though, and this is just a mental note for me later when I watch this video over, if no one else is going to watch it, I need to make my girlfriend mojitos. I was looking all over for some fresh, you know, mint in town to try and crush that up and buy some rum, but I went to my local country market, and you know, not to plug the shit out of my local convenience store, but they don't, I didn't see any rum there. Just a lot of beer, White Claw, and a shit ton of wine of varying reds and whites. But, nothing great. I'm like, why is that? Do they not want the hardcore drink in their country marts? Oh well. I'll just catalog that thought away for later and just head to the nearest Wally World and take care of the problem. Because let's see, what I want to do, since I too want to try this mojito combinaciona, since I've never had one, I'm thinking I'll use a diet Sprite, so like some Sprite Zero or some shenanigan, and cut it with that. Mash up some fresh mint, go through, add in the rum, add in the Sprite, and when you know it, got an okay drink. I'm thinking so. Anyway, Nioh 2's a thing. Yeah, I wouldn't quite use the Switchglaive all that much. I'm going to try and alternate weapons quite a bit, just to keep it a little bit different each time. Personally, I will always be Fists and Odachi. Like, those are the best ones. They are the best ones. Especially for how I like to play, because I like to eventually just get to the point where I don't have to think too much. It's sort of like an opposite DMC problem, where I'm like, oh, that's really stylish, but is it efficient? Like, with Fists, for example. My favorite parry in the game is at mid-stance if your opponent has little to no stamina. And it's essentially a power palm to the chin that can follow up into a contorted grab that can follow up to literally tossing them in the air and then doing a sort of Sophitia Zuna drop hybrid side grab, grabbing them out of the air and then hurling them to the ground with such artisan flair that just gets me all sorts of raised. I barely do it, because you're not always fighting human opponents that you can do that to. The alternative is in the same input for the same overlap at the same stance. They have a similar move that happens after you've taken a hit while blocking, which means you just have to react to the hit after the fact and not be proactive. The skill cap significantly lower, and it too has an interesting follow-up. It's just not as great. Oh yeah, here we go. Do we like this fashion? I like that. I like that sort of outfit for Wooly. Emoji, man.
Now I'm afraid you must die.
Put away your doggo, mad dog of Shimano. Be gone with you. I do think it's cool that you get to fight him just a bit more in the side missions. I enjoy the move that he can teach you after fighting him enough, which is that parry. Considering it's like a peerless strike parry, that's kind of rad. However, what I noticed is that each difficulty I've fought him at, his parry timing has changed ever so gently. He starts having a little bit more wind-up in between his moves, and it can roll catch you. And that's a bad time. As you can see, I already popped my devil trigger because I was trying to get some early points in on him. Because my elemental damage in my yokai form is pretty good. However, it just doesn't last that long to be truly worth it. However, it is an invincible state, and free damage is free damage, as I do like to say. Yeah, him being a spear user though, his defense is fairly admirable. It's no Honda, but it's fairly admirable. He starts doing all that shit in high stance. As soon as you recognize a high stance move, go in. Do a single dash out and then go in if he high stances. Also, that timing pissed me off a bit. I wasn't in my prime during the recording of this, but once he started doing that extra stack shit, I was like, oh dear God. And became a bit more worried over time. Oh, and that's him using some mobility from low stance. And then he's going to spam his unblockable special. That's cool. Oh. And he recognized that he can interrupt my moves, and that's rude, especially on my unblockables. He's pretty resistant to fire damage, as he's wont to do. I forgot he can also remember to use buff states from spears. Again, he picks up a few more player-based moves that are pretty efficient for a boss to use. And that makes it a bit more fun until he just, you know, Aegis reflectors the shit out of you. See, look, he delayed his time on that. He really took his time twirling his spear just now. That's pretty nice, isn't it? Keeps you on your toes. I'll take a boss learning these moves mid-fight and changing that timing, as opposed to fighting a boss the entire same timing and then fighting him again later, and they reverse it. I like the micro victory of learning someone at that point over the macro victory of two different fights. That's my problem, and I think most people's problem with Dark Souls 2's Smelter Demons. Because you eventually, after some frustration, figure out the first Smelter, and you're like, yeah, I can handle Nacho Cheese Dorito Demon. And then you meet Cool Ranch, his fucking vile, putrid counterpart, and it's rough, it's bad, and the whole time it's the game punishing you for something you know, and for being better at that prior boss. It's just not needed. But why? Or why, I say. Yada yada. Still like Dark Souls 2 the most though. Even if I have a lot more footage of Dark Souls 3 on the channel. Man, I wonder if I should start streaming that. What if I stream Dark Souls 3? And again, I've just kind of been throwing wet pasta at the wall to see what would give me anything. Maybe I should do that. It would be fun. I miss going to Dran Lake. And I do miss Lothric. Maybe Lothric. Dark Souls 3 is very pretty. Enjoyable. And I could do the Solaire run again. Do you like me Solaire's armor? Oh yeah. And like that, I beat up a man of poor peripheral vision to get a single key. Hello.
I heard you were tough, but I wasn't expecting that. Turns out I'm no match for you. Dying for one's master is a samurai's lot. I am defeated, and must do the honorable thing. Must I not?
Well, I'm glad you eventually get to fight him again, because from that conversation, I thought he would, you know, commit seppuku and make sure that he would have an honorable death, as opposed to being either captured by what are implied to be my forces or going back to his master in disgrace. I am not sure to which results may be true for the actual person that character is meant to represent, but we'll figure it out from there. I do think he is still alive for the most part, considering I do fight him later in a separate mission by himself. Ooh. Oh, hold on. Okay, I am back. Sorry, had to take a quick pit stop there. Ooh, boy. My sugar's been playing with me just a little bit. Walked a couple miles earlier after work. I like to do a little bit of exercise, get my feet moving. I mostly sit down for 8 hours out of the day on the weekdays for work now, and I'm still getting used to that level of not quite activity that still requires some level of concentration. But all in all, still a good gig. And it's useful so far. Yep, can't complain. Oh, I like that little ninja roll he do every time he land with that weapon. It's kind of nice. It's sort of like the cat-like pause you get when you use the fist style. Oh, yeah. The scary confusion. Ooh, look at the alarm. Oh, I got health. Alright. Angry tornado. Gotta get a light. Oh, too much going on. Oh, I'm gonna take... Nope. On fire. This is where I'd be playing Inquisitor, and there's just a big old red bar over my character model that just says, overwhelmed. Nope. Yeah, beat the Flamo. Kill him. Get the Samo. And, oh, thank goodness. We are back. We are fine. Oh, okay. Alright, bad giant blacksmith friend. We don't like you. No. Oh, fire monk. Okay. Thank God for that DLC with that extra move set. That extra move, yeah, I like that. Where you end the combo with that nice triple hitting twirl. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's sexy. Be like, oh, they painted that little bonsai tree over there. Well, there we go. This is me, Mr. Buffington from Buffington Square. Boom, boom, boom. Hey. Oh shit, Katsui's a big man. Look how rad he looks. I love all the arrows and swords in his back. It's so cool. Shibata Katsui. Probably the first boss fight in this game when I first played it that really did kind of make me try. I mean, he's essentially a super upgraded version of Vord from the Boreal Valley in Dark Souls 3, but significantly more elementally intimidating early on. Granted, Dark Souls 3 did have that frost buff toward the later end of the game's life cycle that made it a lot worse to deal with. but Katsui early on, because of how much flame damage he does, and how a lot of people don't necessarily always have good defenses against fire damage. Ooh, that boy hit hard. And the other thing is, he actually has a lot of follow-ups. You think he's about to take a break when he exerts himself and he does those dashes, and then he does exactly what he did just now, where he would charge at you, and as soon as he finished charging, he would lower his axes as a swipe, where normally you are conditioned in other games to sort of think, ah, he's done dashing at me, he won't attack again, and then he chooses to attack again. See, like, that was only just a single up. He didn't fully make sure to slam down again and then start chopping. He has that option rather than just changing his timing. He can change his entire flow and add more to it. It's sort of like when you would bait characters into kiting in Bloodborne or in other Souls games. And when you would bait them, you would look for the move you can read the easiest because you know the timing for it. Well, with him, the move you would typically want to bait has two different results, so you become a bit more afraid of baiting him. And that's where he can then mix you up with his toolbox by including that extra swipe. He's got AoEs, he's got those long command grabs that are just slow enough that you could look at your watch, order a bus ticket online, wait at the bus stop, go to the store, pick up some groceries, come back, and you know what? He's almost done with that grab. Why don't you get a couple hits in while you're there? He seems to be pretty weak to water damage, and any damage to his stamina is preferred. I do occasionally use that, Umbai. Yeah, I think that's a version of that pronunciation, sure. The Banshee Scream move. That one in particular, I enjoy it for certain bosses because it just cheeses them due to my, let's see, my yokai gauge increase rate. Like, I generate a lot of that particular energy type while I'm playing. Especially in yokai realms because of how I've been building my stats, being the grindy mess that I am. It's just what I do. It's what I prefer to do. Tanky boys who heal from playing the game, who also can just build meter for days. We like free meter, we like getting health for just trying to play the game right, and we like being able to make mistakes. That's the number one. Always be able to make mistakes if you can grow from them. Ask for forgiveness, not permission. That's how you gotta do it sometimes. That's all. That's all I'm trying to say. And Katsui is Gonzo. Cheesed him a little bit, but you know, he a rough fight. And I'm not using my main weapon, and who cares? I had fun doing it. That's what matters. We outie. Alright, I'm gonna let this creative drama roll out. Thank you again for watching.
Please look after my wife.
Bye-bye now.
I spent 40 years on the battlefield and headed up my master's chief retainers. But all my pride was lost, ground to dust by that man. I made my final wish to the Spirit Stones, determined to save my wife at all costs. Now the breath leaves my body, and my regrets go with them. I'm so sorry for all of this.